Hello everybody, this is your DM Cody coming at you for Session 1, The Palace of Plains Pleasure Summary, following immediately after the Session 0 off to a weird start. Inside this session, we are introduced to two more characters joining in our campaign, Calder, the Shifter Barbarian, and Zessos, the Dark Elf Drow Rogue Assassin. They are both supposed to meet each other at the Mammoth's First to discuss a job together. It seems that they are supposed to be finding an individual by the name of Piran. Piran had apparently taken money from the Shrine of Opulence on a loan from the Orzhov Syndicate, which is the guild that represents the church, the bank, and also, illegally, the mafia of the city. Calder is one of their enforcers and is sent to go find Piran, return the money, an object of equal value, or his soul. He's told that Zessos is another member of the Orzhov and is supposed to be helping him in this particular matter. While they both meet at the Mammoth's First, they don't actually talk and or leave until the group arrives. Back at the Blister Coils, Belov tells the group about the disturbance of Typer Vay as being responsible for activating the weird, that he had turned from a tabaxi to a human before turning invisible to leave, and that whenever they try to think about him, he gets headaches and fogginess, which Zanzibar also shares. He states his desire to get the weird back, but the group is concerned about facing this entity after the destruction that it had caused. He explains that the creature is a new type of Glavenach weird, more powerful, and was supposed to be used to help out the Boros Legion and or the Azorius in times of battles. It's gained more power by having a stronger arcane conduit battery that siphons the power of lightning methods. Without the lightning methods to give it power, eventually the battery will run out, he supposed, in about a day or so, and then it should be easier to get. They agree to help him after he provides them with money, Draken the ability to go into Niv Ix to get the ability to make his Goodberry Rhine that he's wanting to make, after giving Bastion the spell scroll of Chaos Bolt, and after giving notice to Zanzibar that it is his duty as a Izzet League member to return Izzet property, but does note his renown is increasing. The group decides to go to the Mad Mammoth's Thirst. After they arrive, very quickly, Calder and Zessos end up trying to leave. Calder calls out a racial slur to Zessos accidentally, but ends up getting into a minute disagreement with Drake and Josh, in which Calder turns into a werelion and growls at him until Drake moves out of his way, and which he leaves. Zessos follows behind Calder, sneaking above the rooftops. Calder ends up noticing some goblins that are acting shady, and he listens in for them, and they speak mostly in Goblin, and sees that one has a letter, and which triggers him, into which he kills the goblins, recovers the letter, but it is written in Goblin. He unfortunately cannot read it. Meanwhile, the gang in the Mad Mammoth's Thirst accidentally create problems early in the night when Drake and Josh drinks very, very powerful liquor in the form of sewage, or sewage-like drink, and it causes him to be sick pretty much throughout the rest of the night. Meanwhile, Calder and Zessos receive little information about Piran, other than the fact that he has recently left his home and gotten a job, apparently dealing with an individual by the name of Ophiria. They return to the Mad Mammoth's Thirst, and everyone lays down for the night and returns up in the morning. Due to some hijinks and pranks at the Mad Mammoth's Thirst, Draken unfortunately leads to destruction of property, which then leads to a hostage situation, which then leads to the entire group now together to run away from the Boros Legion. After being together, Calder gets Draken to read his goblin letter, which explains that Krenko, a goblin mob boss, will soon be breaking out of Sawtooth Prison, a facility owned by the Boros Legion. After resisting arrest, they end up going into the plaza to try and hear more information dealing with the Glavenach weird, in which Bastion, Belov, and Zanzibar hear that the weird has caused destruction throughout the day, but was eventually taken by Rakdos cultists, put into a weird-looking building. The building apparently can move and is a living construct, and it was called Ophiria's Palace of Plains Pleasure. Bastion puts two and two together when he remembers that his ally, Savraya, is apparently going to a place known as the Three Ps. Soon after getting this information, they are attacked by goblins, apparently in retaliation about what Calder had done the night before, but going after everyone. After a very quick fight, they end up alerting the populace to this fight, and more Boros Legion are coming in the form of angels. They once again flee from the Boros Legion and making their way to Niv-Ix, in which Ophiria's Palace of Plains Pleasure is parked outside. After seeing a few of the performances going on throughout the Palace of Plains Pleasure, everyone eventually finds their way in, either through paying, talking their way in, or by killing a cultist and hiding his body after sneaking in. They all get together. The group ends up stealing one of Ophiria's diaries and then goes seize her. A fight nearly breaks out after, again, more hijinks and by a potential use and failed use of the Zone of Truth. But Bastion is able to meddle in a diplomacy check in which he is able to get Ophiria to mention the group that she will give them platinum in the exchange of the head of an individual by the name of Piran, which is the same type of individual that Calder and Zessus were looking for anyway, as well as for an object known as the Facility Triskelion, a amulet of great power, but she has unfortunately not been able to get it to work at its full use. Piran had said that he could figure it out, but when it was time for him to return the object to her, he did not. She promised them platinum and gold for it, and the group more or less agrees. Bastion and Calder decide to leave, but the rest remain to see what Ophiria can offer them in this Palace of Pain's Pleasure, either be tortured or be pleased. Mostly the only participants really there being Drake and Josh and Zanzibar. And that is the summary for Session 1's The Palace of Plains Pleasure, in which we had the full group all together, and it was amazing. We will begin getting out for Session 2 summary, The Deep Below, next time.